What's going on, everybody? We are live. It is Wonderful Wednesday, and we've got a lot to break down in today's live show. Yes, we're going to be here with you guys. Ask your questions in chat, and we will be responding. And in today's video, one of the things I want you to be chatting down below is what are some of your altcoins that you want to know more about what future price action looks like? Because today, we're discussing what altcoins could do should the Fed start cutting rates either in May or in June. And there's a reason why we're anticipating that, because even though the predictions aren't going that way, a lot of data points are coming out that are giving Jerome Powell and the Fed exactly what they've been asking for to start cutting rates. And the minute that starts happening, watch out, altcoins, watch out, crypto. You should see some skyrocketing price action, and you do not want to miss out on those pumps. So if you're excited about this live show today, if you're excited about altcoins and you're excited about the future of cryptocurrency, smash that like button right now. Hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any of our content coming out. All right, let's go. All right, everybody. Welcome. It is, again, a wonderful Wednesday. We got live show today. Got Smay with me today. Got T-Shroom. How you boys doing? Starting off with Smay and the Pittsburgh Steelers. How you feeling about that draft class overall?
Great draft, Tim. Honestly, I think of all the QBs that I was extremely bullish on, I was, sneakily really excited about Will Howard. So obviously he's going to sit on that bench probably forever. But
Yep.
I still, of all the, I think it was nice that we didn't try to go crazy to get any other QBs early. And so we just stuck with building a nice little nest. And I think that's good for this year. Maybe we tank and then hopefully get a better pick next year.
There we go. All right, that's what every crypto holder thinks too. We'll tank for a year and then hopefully not. We've tanked for long enough. It's time for crypto to go up to the upside. Yeah. T-Shroom, my friend, how are you doing today?
I'm doing better than I deserve, Tim. Very excited as the Champions League comes to a close. Got the semifinals with Inter, Milan, and Barcelona that are tied in aggregate, and PSG and Arsenal with, I believe PSG has 1 point over Arsenal, so a very exciting Champions League.
It sounds like you're reading a script.
You're reciting that from memory, fan. Right? You're not reading that off a separate screen.
No, go to my screen. Go to my screen.
No, because you have multiple screens, and that's not the screen you're sharing, Stream. You thought you could pull a cheap trick on me. You can't.
I am a real soccer fan, and I'm better than I deserve.
All right. It's going to be a fun one today. We'll have more fun towards the end of the show. I went golfing this morning, had one of my best rounds ever, but we'll talk more about that later. We got to talk cryptocurrency. And before we get into the charts, we're going to cover a lot of charts here today. You guys can be asking a lot of questions. Let's actually start here, T-Shirt. Before we get in the news, let's briefly answer some questions. Drilla69, not quite a question, but says no more alt season with the cry face. Drilla69. While I can't promise you 100% guaranteed an alt season is coming, I still believe very much so that one is coming. So turn that frown upside down. Altcoins still have a lot of room to the upside. Today we'll tell you why that is. JP asking, when do we get that pullback to 88,000? He's talking about Bitcoin, and we will do Bitcoin TA today. It looks like I'm lagging here a little bit. Hopefully my internet is not doing terribly.
You look great, Tim.
All right, good. It's just on my end then. We're going to talk about that. There's a chance 88 doesn't happen. And part of that reason why is because the bulls are doing such a great job of holding strong levels of support. There's a chance we do not get that 88,000 on Bitcoin. But again, stick around. We'll cover all of that in the charts. But for now, we got to get into the conversation. What's happening in the macroeconomic situation, the worldview? What is happening that potentially could be leading to major bullish catalysts for the cryptocurrency markets? For that, I'm going to throw it over to T-Shroom. We're going to get through that data. We'll come out and do some charts on the other side. With that said, T-Shroom, take it away.
Heck yeah, Tim. Got some mixed data coming in today. ADP non-farm payroll kicks us off. The actual print here was 62K. The estimate was 114K, and the prior was 155K. So coming in under the prior and the estimate there. Jump into the Q1 GDP, which came in lower. The print was negative 0.3. The estimate was 0.2, and the previous was 2.4. So coming in lower than the estimate in the previous there as well. There's a little bit of breakdown with some details there. We might swing back to those, but the core PCE price index month over month for March, actual print was 0. The expectation was 0.1. Previous was 0.5, so coming in under there. Remember, we want inflation to be low for the most part. U.S. core PCE price index year over year March was actual 2.6, expected 2.6, and previous 3.0. Tim, what do you make of this data?
Listen, at the end of the day, this data is a beautiful, beautiful thing, and here's why. We're going to do a refresher course for anyone who might be newer to the channel or maybe newer to investing. Maybe you don't know a whole lot about the Fed. You've heard of Jerome Powell, you've heard of the Fed, you've heard of rate cuts, but you're not necessarily really certain what all of that means. The Federal Reserve has a dual mandate that they have to balance, and their job, even though we kind of would love for them to maybe be dismantled and not exist anymore, their job, as long as they exist, is to take care of two things: inflation numbers, keeping them down, and unemployment numbers, keeping them down. But more often than not, when just like a scale, if one starts to go lower, the other one goes higher, and vice versa. We have just been exiting out of a period for the last couple of years where unemployment was actually relatively low, but the inflation numbers had begun to rise. So what do you do when inflation goes up and unemployment comes down? You raise interest rates, okay? So those have actually kind of started to balance out over the last couple of months, making the Fed not want to raise rates anymore, but stay paused. But this data coming out, when you have the inflation numbers continue to beat expectations and go lower, and the unemployment numbers miss expectations and go higher. If the inflation going higher and unemployment means raise the rates, inflation going down and unemployment going up, if the Fed does their job, they should start cutting rates to lower that unemployment and bring their dual mandate back into balance. Another thing you need to know about the negative information, sometimes bad news is good news. GDP missed its mark here, as T-Shrim just told us. Why is this a big deal? Usually, when GDP is low, like it is right now, and starts to head towards a negative number, you're going to be expecting a recession. And I'm sure even in chat today, you're going to see a lot of people say recession coming, recession coming, recession coming. You see macro analysts warning that a major recession is coming. You see, I think I saw a report a couple weeks ago that 60% of CEOs in the United States, I don't know what CEOs they're interviewing, but 60% of CEOs believe that we're heading for a recession. And I don't want to minimize this, because we ourselves here at the Broz, we have friends who own businesses that these tariffs are costing them sales, costing them business, costing them profits. This is no joke. There very much still could be some pain ahead for small companies. But as a whole, when the GDP number starts to come down like it is right now, this causes the Fed to say, we don't want to be the guys that allow ourselves go into a bad recession and unemployment go crazy high. Because in recessions, people get fired, unemployment shoots up. What do you do to stop that? You start cutting rates. And even though right now all the tools that we use are not net predicting a May cut, and I'm not myself going to predict a May cut, we are starting to watch the prediction come in that by the end of the year, we could see 4 cuts again. For that, let's go ahead and go to my screen and go to the CME Futures tool. And Smay, you're going to have to take my face down because I'm going to get in the way of this tool. This is the CME FedWatch tool. They're predicting what the rate numbers will be in future months. For May, for example, next week, we will be live early next Wednesday for the FOMC meeting. 95% chance no rate cuts happen. Okay, so that's why I'm saying I'm not expecting this to happen next week. I am still expecting June to be the first rate cut. Right now, there's a 33% chance that we do not cut rates, but that means we have a 67% chance that we cut at least 1, if not 2, cuts in June. You move to July, all of a sudden, we're seeing a 60% chance or greater, 61% chance we'll have 2 rate cuts by then. I'll go ahead and fast forward and get to the good stuff. By December, we have, let's do the math here, 19 plus 4. We'll just go 19 plus 4. So a 23% chance that we don't have 4 rate cuts. But that means if there's a 23% chance that we don't have 4, 41 plus 32 plus 1, guys, we are talking about almost a 70% likelihood that by the end of 2025, we will have 4 rate cuts. Now, bring me back on camera. Go back to my screen. I'm already seeing the chats come in. I'm already seeing people in the comment section saying no Fed cuts happening anytime soon. No cuts happening in 2025. And you know what? That is definitely a possibility. But here's all I'll say. If the Fed is serious about doing their job, if the Fed is not going to get political and try to make a political statement here, if they're doing what they're supposed to do, and that is reading the incoming data, inflation goes low, unemployment goes up, GDP is going lower, which would cause further higher levels of unemployment. What is the logical thing that they need to do? They need to cut rates. We'll have to continue to monitor this over the next couple of months, next couple of weeks for sure. But all these signs are still pointing, unless something dramatically terrible comes out in the next month, all signs are pointing towards rate cuts coming, quantitative easing coming, liquidity coming back into the markets, and risk on assets like cryptocurrency should go boom if all of this happens. T-Shroom, I'm going to throw it back to you because we have more news, but hopefully all of that made sense for everybody as to why. Again, I'm not saying buy right this second. We're going to get into the charts in a couple of minutes. But there is going to be a season coming soon that you're going to want to buy some dips. You want to get in on these risk on assets because the signs are still pointing at a major bull run coming. Don't miss out on it. T-Shroom, let's get into the rest of the news here today that's making us bullish.
Absolutely. 5 days left for the Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent to deliver a evaluation for establishing and managing the strategic Bitcoin reserve as mandated in Trump's March 6 EO, that executive order back in early March. So, Tim, what does this have you thinking about? What are you anticipating hearing this headline?
Yeah, this one might not bring immediate flash, but it's going to be good just to hear more about what they are thinking to do. Again, it's mandated. We have a final plan. That's been one of the things that, as I think, have held the bulls even back from going further to the upside, is we know some sort of good information is coming. We're just not clear on what it is. Well, Bessent, he's going to be speaking to us very soon. In the next week, we will hear from him on what is the long-term plan for the United States government when it comes to holding Bitcoin in a strategic reserve. I think a lot of signs point towards bullish, but let's wait to find out what that is. But we will cover that next week when that news comes out. Stay here, stay posted. Make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss that information. All right, anything else we have going on when it comes? I think we have one more story when it comes to altcoins, T-Shroom, and then we'll get into the charts.
Absolutely, Tim. It's an exciting one. BlackRock files to launch a digital share class for its $150 billion money market fund using blockchain to reflect ownership. This one is pretty wild, and it's a big bullish headline for RWA tokenization bulls like myself. How does this one hit you, Tim?
Yeah, this is a good one because this just goes further into why we're so bullish on altcoins. Does BlackRock love Bitcoin? Does the United States government love Bitcoin? Absolutely they are. And Bitcoin is going to lead the bull run. Let's make no mistake about it. But altcoins are going to be right behind there. And AI plays and real-world asset plays, the coins that BlackRock has expressed a lot of interest in, they're going to be some of the biggest winners in all of this when it's said and done. So today, that's going to take us into the charts here in a second. We're going to be covering it, but go ahead and drop some coins. I know someone asked earlier, Burton Stone asked us to cover TAO, which TAO is a very interesting play, kind of a mix of the AI and DPIN space. We'll take a look at TAO here in a little bit, but there's a couple of coins I want to address first. Let's start off, though, with, like I said, Papa Bitcoin. Right? The markets will still be led by the big, the bad, the great. Bad is in Michael Jackson bad, not the traditional usage of bad. Bitcoin is still king of the crypto markets. Now, we're monitoring something right now when it comes to Bitcoin. You guys know, if you've been following us, if you've watched our show before, we have made a major long-term bullish breakout, setting a new high for the first time since all-time highs back in January. This is very bullish, right? When we broke above $89,000 here just a couple of days ago on April 21st, we switched to a bullish trend for the first time since January 20th. Do not overlook that. Is that a guarantee the bull market's back on? Not necessarily, but it's an amazing first step in the process. What happens, though, in bull trends? Bull trends have higher highs and higher lows. Higher highs and higher lows. And so what we're watching for right now, just like if you were to go back to the major bullish rally we had back starting in September into October and November, this wasn't just one straight line. Look at how many pullbacks happened during this bullish period from September of 2024 to the first high, the first time we got over 100K and got up to 108,000 here in December. It wasn't a straight line. Several pullbacks happened. And that's what we're on watch for right now. And I've told a lot of people my level that I'm looking for. We've been kind of monitoring some overbought signals for a week and some change now, and yet Bitcoin continues to hold up here. I'm still monitoring some pullback areas, and the number one thing I'm looking at, even though we have sell signals on lower time frames, we have them on the 4 hour. If we kind of come in here to Lux Algo, you take a look here. All of this is still showing us some lower levels on the 4 hour, on the 8 hour. But the one that I'm kind of keeping my eyes on is the 12-hour chart. We have a confirmed sell signal here. Right now, I'll have to check this. I don't think the daily has confirmed a sell signal. It has not. So the 12 hour is our highest sell signal. Red reversal, bearish momentum, negative money flow. It's the perfect trifecta to tell us when to buy and when to sell. In this case, it's saying when to sell. Now, the problem with this is under really bullish bull trends, these sell signals can be ignored. What's a great example of that? Well, the 4 hour gave us a sell signal way back here on April 26th. Bearish red reversal, bearish momentum, negative money flow, right? Did the 4 hour candle, though, hit its targets? And the answer is no. It didn't even get close to the smart trail. So that's just a sign of how strong the bulls are. But the 12 hour is very interesting to me. Right? The 12 hour is very interesting to me as a potential target. And the reason why is because now that we have this sell signal, it's still rising the upside, this blue smart trail. That's the target we're always looking for. It's giving us some signals between 90,000 and still on the low side, about 88.5. But I'm seeing some crossover. If I look at the 8 hour chart, we see some levels here on 90,000. If I look at the 4 hour chart, we see some levels here on 90,500. So with a lot of this crossover, what I love to do with smart trails for targets on trades, I'm actively in a short right now. We do this every single day with our VIP trading group. We set up different calls, long, shorts, ways to make money in these markets. Whenever I see 3 smart trails giving me a similar location, you got to put a lot of weight on that spot. In this case, we're looking just north of $90,000 is a very interesting target for Bitcoin to pull back. But that's not the only thing I want to show you. Again, I've showed this to a couple other people before, but I want to show it to you guys here. Why is the 12-hour smart trail the one that I think is very intriguing to keep your eyes on? If you go back here, like I said, to September, did we technically lose it temporarily here in at the end of September? We did, but let's just pretend. Let's just pretend you bought every single time since the lows in September. You bought every time we touched the 12-hour smart trail during this process before hitting new all-time highs, getting up above 100K. You would have made a handful of purchases here. You would have made 4 purchases of Bitcoin, okay? And with the exception of this one at the end of September, these 4 purchases were borderline perfect bottom signals before we finally got some bearish divergence, bearish indicators tapped out and said it's time to cool off like we did over, the beginning stages of 2025. But these levels would have been, you would have bought Bitcoin at 62,900, almost 63. You would have bought here again at 65.2. You would have bought again at 67. And then you would have bought up here at 91 before Bitcoin would make its way all the way up to 107. The 12-hour smart trail was the consistent support level throughout that bullish trend. If I were to show you the daily chart, there were several times where even though we touched the daily chart right here at the end of September, early October, if you were waiting for the daily smart trail to buy again, you would have had to wait all the way until way over here in December at 95,000. And by that time, yeah, if you had bought here, could you have made a little extra money going back up to 108? A little, but not a lot. The 12-hour smart trail to me was the much more reliable smart trail to be buying on, and you can see that dictated here on the charts. Now I'm going to get rid of these little squiggly lines. I think I've made my point overall. What this means is I can't promise you that we end up pulling back this far, but right now, we are under a 12-hour sell signal. We have not ignored a 12-hour sell signal yet, like we have ignored 1-hour sell signals and 4-hour sell signals. And at this point, I think you could even make a good case. We've ignored 8-hour sell signals, but the 12 hours we have not ignored yet. I still think a touch back down here towards 90K, back down towards this 12-hour smart trail will make a lot of sense. This does not negate the long-term buy signals that are still on the table here from our weekly chart, where we are still under a long-term buy. Green reversal, bullish momentum, and extremely positive money flow with now 3 weeks of positive momentum on that money flow. This still gives us new all-time high targets, at least back up to 109, but potentially even back up as high as 132. Now, I'm not saying back because we haven't been there before, but you get my point here. Back up into the red cloud. Look at how September operated, right? When we came up here in October, November, we went to the top of this red cloud. If we repeat that, that would put us up here at $130,000. I apologize, everybody. My camera is going berserk. We have no idea why. That is something we're going to look into as soon as the live stream is over. But for now, hopefully my voice is still coming crystal clear. My charts are still coming crystal clear. That's what we're looking at here on Bitcoin. Real quick, you saw my camera go in and out, right?
You're looking good now, but there may have been a flicker. Yeah.
We messed with it right before. We don't know what's happening here, but we're live, so there's really nothing we can do about it until after the live stream is over. So stick with us. You guys love our live streams. You guys have been begging for them. You guys, some of you, I would not be surprised if tears in the last week and a half have been shed over the Broz new schedule. But I'll tell you what, Wednesdays are phenomenal days because we will always be live on Wednesdays. Next week will be a special live as well. Hit the likes to fix the camera. Let's get into some altcoin conversation. Let's get into altcoin discussions here. We did have one more breaking story we forgot to mention earlier. I'm going to throw it to T Shroom, and that'll kind of lead us into some altcoin talk here as well. This is happening within the last hour. Some of you, I think, know about it. I think I've seen one person comment on it in the chat. But Ripple with some big news here today. T Shroom, what is Ripple doing?
Well, it looks like the case has been open and closed, but if you go over to my screen, this was the excitement that you missed out on. Ripple offered $4 to $5 billion to acquire Circle. Offer was immediately rejected per Bloomberg. Their reporting said this: Ripple proposed to take over of Circle Internet Group for $4 to $5 billion, but the bid was rejected as too low. Circle is focusing on following through on an initial public offering it filed for earlier this month, and Ripple hasn't decided whether to make that offer. Ripple launched RLUSD stablecoin in December, which has a market value of $316 million compared to Circle's USDC with a market value of $61 billion. Quite a juxtaposition, quite a gap there. But that's the news you missed out on.
A lot of again, an hour ago, we're hearing that they made an offer, and less than an hour after, they're already being rejected. We did say right before we were live, we're like, that seems low to purchase Circle. It seemed like a low ball offer. But you know what? You miss every shot you don't take. Ripple took a shot, and they missed anyway. So maybe they're going to come back with a little higher offer. We don't know. I think it's interesting that bids are going out for Circle in the first place. Not that I have any news on that, but is Circle in trouble, Shroom?
No, well, so they're looking to IPO, right? And what is an IPO? You're essentially selling to the market, right? You're selling to the stock market. So, Ripple's just coming in saying, "Hey, if you're willing to sell, we'll buy at this price. You don't have to sell to the market." And, I think one of the selling points I would make if I was Brad Garlinghouse is, "Hey, we're already we're post lawsuit, right? So we're fully covered. If there ever was another administration that wasn't favorable to crypto, we would be able to come out on the other side of that with a little bit more of a durable legal strategy. Of course, if I'm Circle, though, that may not be the most compelling. I may want to still go public on the markets to see if I can get a higher bid than $5 billion. Tim, we camera back up. There we go. There he is. There's that.
Again, no idea what's going on. That's a little frustrating, but let's get into some altcoin TA here. I'm gonna let you guys know what I'm gonna do here because a lot of people are chatting. I want you guys to chat here. Start dropping the coin you want to look at. We are already planning today to go through SUI, through Render, and through Cardano. Okay, so yell out that coin if you guys are excited about any of the 3 coins. You guys hold them. Yell it out in chat. I'm seeing the cries for AVAX. I'm seeing the cries for TAO. Of course, there's going to be people asking for XRP. I'm going to leave that to you, Smay and T Shroom, to kind of wrestle with who's commenting what. We're going to give you guys a little time to spam. Don't spam too much, right? We want people to be able to read chat and interact here. But Temporarily, you're allowed to spam coins you want to hear from. With that said, let's start off with the coin that had the hottest week last week. It's off to a slightly rough start this week again, but what has an amazing bullish white candle like this and then doesn't have a little bit of a pullback, right? SUI is a coin that I'm still very, very excited about long term, but something it did last week. This is really interesting. I told you guys on Bitcoin how we broke above a former all-time high, right? Or sorry, all-time high. We broke above a former high of a descending high in a bearish trend. I made the mark for SUI. I said, listen, guys, the first thing I need to see SUI do is get back above 283. All right, that's what I want to see SUI do. I want to see it back above 283, break the most recent high from back in March, and then we're bullish. And I said, you know what? It'd be even cooler and really bullish is if it could come up here and break the high from February 14th as well. It did that. It did that as well. So SUI with some major moves here, it's okay for them to pull back. They get to rest a little bit after an epic run here last week. It's okay for them to pull back here a little bit. I'm not that surprised they were pulling back. Again, aside from even just sell signals, they kind of have started a little bit of a rising channel. These are traditionally more bearish formations. Losing support like we did here earlier today makes a lot of sense. We have retested now the 4-hour smart trail. You guys can see we had a sell signal from back in here, back on April 28th. That has now been ratified. I don't know if that's the right term there, but we're going to go with it. How high do these sell signals go, though? 8-hour chart, we got a sell signal coming in with targets down here, at least back to 320, but potentially here at $3. How about that 12-hour? How are we looking over in the 12-hour? Well, bad news. Looks like the 12-hour is giving us a sell signal as well. Red reversal, bearish momentum, a little bubble being formed right there. That money flow is going negative. That is giving us targets up here a little south of $3, $2.95, but maybe even back to the highs we had back here in March, maybe somewhere here around 286. Could be a very interesting spot. Let's keep going just to make sure. Is the daily signal giving us a sell signal? If today closes the way it is, red reversal, bearish momentum, it looks like that money flow is going negative there, ladies and gentlemen. You can't rule that one out. Now, that's a rising smart trail at the moment. It's not finished. Again, it's getting very close to that 283 mark where the 12 hours kind of wrapped over that area as well. That, to me, looks like a very interesting dynamic. The good news, 2 daily, not giving us a sell signal, right? So the highest sell signal confirmed on the 12-hour, and then the daily could be confirmed within the next couple of hours here on SUI. Either way, again, you're still looking back here at putting in a higher low after a higher high. If we pull back down to 285, do not be discouraged. Do not be upset. If you can get a 280 or 290 SUI, you should be extremely excited about that. Shmay, go ahead and while I'm on my screen, just take my face down. That's going to be distracting that my camera's glitchy like that. Yeah, there we go. Don't know why that's acting that way, but for now, we're just going to look at the charts this way. And I'm going to do this a little bit more. They don't have to focus on that. We're going to move this over so it's not so much of the screen being covered by just price action charts. That's what I'm going to kind of look at there, though. SUI, very bullish long term. The bullish structure still in play. We still have weekly buy signals all the way up here that could go back towards all-time highs, back up here towards 522. Once we break through that, the sky is the limit. This is a coin we just did some price predictions on last week. If you have not seen the SUI price prediction video, go watch it. I explain why. Realistically, my levels to watch, somewhere between 37 to 73. I'm not saying we get to 73. We could. I lay out why we could. But I think somewhere here in the middle, probably somewhere in the world of $50 is the expectation for SUI. But if you want to know why that's my prediction, I'm not just this lunatic just throwing this number out for no reason. I have a specific reason why I'm predicting that. Go watch that video. For now, though, it is going to be time to focus. Watch that 12-hour, watch that daily smart trail over the next couple of days. I think that if you could scoop up 290, even 295, anywhere between here and 285, you are doing a very, very, very good job to scoop up some SUI. Let's take a quick look at liquidation levels that could be intriguing for people to keep an eye on here as well. Oop, did not mean to minimize that one. We're kind of taking some out right here. There's a little bit of liquidations at 287. There is a pocket at 264. So could we get a little wick that wicks down there? Possibly. But I still, again, with the support that's going to come in, I think we're going to have some order blocks and equilibriums in this level. Just don't be surprised if we have something like this and we do consolidate right here, maybe we have a wick shoot there and come right back up and go back up. But I'm going to be buying right in this zone right here. 290, 285 is going to be my zone to add more to my SUI before that big move to the upside. Take a look at some other coins here. Let's look at Render. We haven't looked at Render for some time. Render, you know, if you look at the macro, really feeling it, right? Have big pullback here. The highs from back in March, we haven't gotten anywhere close to touching them. Even in December, we couldn't make it back up towards the May highs. So some people are starting to get really concerned about Render, really discouraged about it. Again, we haven't done TA in so long. I haven't even validated our double top position right here. Our potential cup and handle or inverse head and shoulders pattern. It's been that long. We took all that off. Now what we're monitoring right now is, can we get a bullish trend on Render once again? Some will tell you the high we had to get above was right here. The high from back here at the end of March, around 426. I understand why. I located this when we were way back here, back in earlier April. I located this level right here. I said 484. 484 is going to be the zone. I think we were doing some trading one day with a VIP group. This will be the zone. We need to get back above 48, 44, that area, before we can say we're in a bull trend. Look at where we rejected here just a couple of days ago. We rejected right on that same trend line. So is Render screaming bullish yet? Not necessarily. It's not necessarily in higher highs and higher lows on larger time frames. What it is seeing is, again, major buy signals, even out as far as the weekly chart. We got the bullish divergence, green reversal, bullish momentum, and clearly some very extreme positive money flow. This all gives us targets all the way back up here, 745. You might ask, Tim, when was the last time we got a weekly buy signal on Render? Because it's looking like we've been under a lot of positive money flow for a long time. Well, you'd have to go back here. We did have a buy signal back here in September. Guess what we did? Did we hit new highs? No, we didn't. But after getting this buy signal in September, what did we see Render's price action do? It bounced up and came. It actually broke slightly above, but you could have taken profit right there on the weekly smart trail. You would have had a successful trade. We then got crushed back down to the downside with all of this negativity. Now we're under this buy signal once again, that high on the weekly chart. Don't be surprised if Render is making a move back up above $7, potentially even pushing above $8 in the next couple of weeks. That being said, I'm going to assume, just like the rest of the crypto space, we're a little overbought at the moment on some of these lower time frames. Very clear sell signal on the 12-hour chart, red reversal, bearish momentum, negative money flow. You can see here, we're not that far away from hitting those targets. Those targets would probably put us in the range of 392 to potentially as low as 373. I'm going to be interested to see, is the daily chart giving us a sell signal? Unfortunately, ladies and gentlemen, it is red reversal, bearish momentum, negative money flow. Where's that smart trail coming in at? Round 373. It's still rising. It hasn't camped out. It's not in a great place yet. But between that 12-hour and the daily, I'm going to sit here and say, if you could get to 375, if you could be buying Render at 375, that probably in that zone is going to be a decent little buy area at the bottom of that 12-hour and potentially targeting where that daily smart trail is getting to. That's going to be my zone of interest to watch for a move on Render. I'm going to assume is also, I haven't done this on other coins, I'm going to assume there's a Fibonacci level right in this camp as well. That could be very interesting. Yeah, right there at the point 382 level. Still a very bullish level. Some people are going to say, Tim, watch out for the golden pocket. But to me, that's going to be, I think, a good enough pullback for Render that warrants another buy signal around 375. And that's where I'm going to be scooping up some more Render myself. All right. The last coin that I had planned, and then we're going to get into some of your guys' question or Q&A, TA. Smash that like button if you guys are enjoying the show so far here today. Let's check in on Cardano. It feels like it's been a minute since I did Cardano analysis here on the channel. Again, we've done it a couple times in the VIP trading group, but I feel like it's been a minute since here for the YouTube community. Let's look at Cardano and what is going on here. Did not quite make it all the way to the daily smart trail. After getting some daily buy signals here before, you are seeing, there's no confirmed sell signal because we never got a clear reversal right there. But I'm going to assume we have one on the 12-hour chart. We do. We do have one on the 12-hour chart, but we don't have a target below us. Cardano maybe a little bit more it never got overbought. It's still considered potentially oversold compared to some of its cohorts. The weekly chart, though, is giving us a clear buy signal coming in. Well, I spoke too soon. This is one of the reasons why we haven't covered it recently. Has not officially gotten us a weekly buy signal. We had the green reversal. We had the bullish momentum. We have bullish divergence, but that money flow just isn't positive yet. So where do we have a buy signal? It's a 5-daily. There we go. 5-day is giving us a buy signal on Cardano. That would give us targets up here back towards 88 cents. If the weekly chart does trigger, all of a sudden we're talking about back towards $1. But with that said, let's not ignore what we're looking at right now on the daily, and let's look at the 12-hour. Even though we're below the smart trail, let's look at the 12-hour real quickly here, where you are still seeing the sell signal in play. What do you do when you don't have a smart trail below you? I love when you get a sell signal and the smart trail's down below, but sometimes you see something like this. Let's look at some possibilities here for Cardano. The number one thing that I do is I look to see, is there an order block in play here? Is there some liquidity in play? We're going to look at liquidations as well. And sure enough, I'm seeing a slightly bullish order block coming in down here at 60 cents. Not guaranteeing that Cardano makes it back that far, but I do. Well, that's really not that far from where we are right now. I think 60 cents looks very intriguing. Could we make a move back down here towards 53? We could, but you can see on a shorter time frame, Cardano has started to slowly form a higher high and higher low, and technically coming here towards 62 to 61 cents wouldn't quite be a lower low just yet. That's probably where I'm looking right now to sell some. Oh, look at that. Nice rejection off of a 12-hour order block right there. A very bearish order block. I teach this, by the way, if you guys are thinking this and you're like, hey, what is Tim looking about on the charts right now? What is he talking about with these order blocks? These are all amazing support and resistance indicators from Luxalgo. If you're confused, though, come into the VIP trading group, purchase Luxalgo. I'll show you how to use it and start making money with it today. But for now, I'm going to say Cardano, maybe not as bullish as some of the others from the charts perspective. Cardano, though, is one of the coins with a mind of its own. When it's ready to go, it will go, and it will go very, very fast. Cardano to make new higher highs for the first time since, well, it's been so weird, right? Because this weird thing happened in March. I need to see Cardano back above 77 cents to start setting higher highs and higher lows there on Cardano. Look for maybe lower 60s to come in first before any of that happens. All right, let me take a quick break. Go to, oh, nice intro there. Take a quick break. T-Shroom, we're going to look at TAO. We're going to look at AVAX. We're going to take a look at, I think people are asking for XRP and Link. I got to draw these down. Anything, the coins that I talked about right now, I just got through SUI, Render, ADA. Is there any news that's happened this week or potentially in the near future that people should know about when it comes to these coins?
Yeah, I can look into that for sure. I can see if there's any news on that. For AVAX, SUI, Render, yeah, I can take a look at that.
Sounds good. You guys ready to get back into it? Ready to get back into some charts? Let's take a look at BitTensor TAO, the coin that we have been really hot on here recently. If I can find it, though, I think where did I hide it? There we go. I raised it up here. TAO is a coin that we really do think the Broz community, we think could have another special place. Like I've told you guys already, the big three that I'm really, really excited about in this bull market. I'm excited about a lot of coins, but the big three, Chainlink, Ondo, and SUI, right? Those are my big three. If you're saying, Tim, what's your number 4 pick that's maybe coming in behind? TAO is really making a case for me as being coin number 4 to get really excited about. And you can see here over the last couple of days since April 6th, so really the last month almost, really explosive movement here. How much would be up here? If you bought back here at the bottom, you'd still be up over 100% in the month of April. That is a great, great sign here. I don't think we're quite done. As we do see, again, this is a chart with a weekly buy signal. And that's going to give us targets all the way up here that could get us back above $500. Again, that's just the smart trail. We could break that smart trail. We could go a lot higher, but that's just where I'm starting to kind of watch things. Is the 2-weekly chart getting bullish on us? I bet you it is. It's not an old enough chart to get money flow, but we do have positive momentum. I'm going to assume that that's bullish divergence. It is. There's bullish divergence in play. And when you don't have money flow, if you guys are ever looking at a new coin or you're looking at such a high chart where you don't see Luxalgo's money flow, Money flow is not identical to the MACD, but it is similar. So whenever I look at a chart like this and I don't have money flow, I always take a look at the MACD. And while the MACD isn't crossing bullish yet, it is slowing down. And those two light pink histograms are showing me the power dynamics have shifted from heavy negative price action and losing momentum to, for the first time since back here in December, it looks like TAO starting to gain some momentum back. That's a potential positive money flow right there, in which case we're talking about a buy signal on the 2-weekly chart that has signals all the way up towards $800, okay? That could take quite some time. That is like fall. Like that could take late summer, even into the fall before we see those levels. I say that. I think that TAO could get to $5 or $800 way sooner than that. But I just want to make sure I'm not – no one should be watching this and saying, Tim said $800 by next week, okay? That's not what I'm saying. I am bullish on TAO. I will have a price prediction coming out on TAO probably the next couple of weeks. But for now, let's stay focused on the weekly up here towards 500, okay? That's what I would be keeping an eye on. Let's take a look at those sell signals. How high are we getting sell signals? It does look like the daily chart is giving us one here. So we'll look between the daily and the 12-hour, just like everything else. A nice bubble there on the 12-hour chart. That's a very confident sell signal that I'm seeing right there. So between the 12-hour and the daily, what are we looking at here? 12-hour giving us signals, high end 327, low end 312. Daily chart still rising, but you can see all the way down here at 293. 293. What makes this hard is that the daily is definitely still climbing, right? If I'm looking at the smart trail here, it hasn't curved sideways yet. Oop, did not grab the marker like I wanted. It hasn't turned sideways yet. It still has ascending levels. So what I'm tempted to kind of say is maybe potentially keep an eye towards the bottom end here of the 12-hour smart trail, in which case we're looking around 312. But because there's such a discrepancy, let's try to find some added evidence about where this bottom position could be. I'm going to start with some order blocks. There we go. Big bullish breaker block. These are breaker blocks. Again, this is a complicated thing that you can learn in Luxalgo. What you need to know is these are like order blocks on steroids. They're stronger. They're more established. That comes in starting at 312, could dip all the way down here to 293. That overlaps with where the current top of the daily smart trail is, right? So that's something absolutely to be aware of. A big support level, again, starting around 313, kind of backing up my point, 312, 313 is an area with a lot of interest as well. How about liquidations? Big pile of liquidations coming in around 303, 306, 305. So there you're going to have, all right, there's some possible, with us having support in that region and some long that can be liquidated very quickly before continuing to the upside. Keep your eyes around the $300 level is going to be where I'm looking for an add-in here on TAO. Just to kind of give that further perspective here, let's just pretend that happens, because some people are going to say, oh, Tim, that's such a big pullback. That would mean that TAO is going to continue to bleed from here another 13, 14%. Let's just pretend it does. Let's pretend we come down here and we hit 300, go a little bit below it, and then bounce up. Do you guys see what I see? Higher highs, higher lows. This is a bull trend, ladies and gentlemen. Don't be afraid of percentages. Make sure you zoom out before you freak out. Check out the charts. This looks like something that'd be very interesting. Just out of curiosity, I wonder if there's a similarity here as well. We pulled back here after rising at the beginning of April. We pulled back to the 0.382, on Fibonacci. What would the 0.382 be in this situation? It would be right here around 315. Right, 0.5 around 296, but 315 area is the 3.82. So if we just mimic that move, you kind of have another major support level to go along with those order blocks and those smart trails. 315 to 300, that's my zone I'm going to be watching for. Let's just kind of draw that on here real quick. 315 high, 300 low. That's the buy signal. That's the buy zone right in there for our TAO. Let's take a look at AVAX. And I'm not going to throw it to T-Shroom, actually, before I do AVAX, just to check in and see if he find any news on those coins. But start adding these as well as we go through TAO and AVAX and Link and XRP as well. But any news you're seeing on the altcoin fronts that we talked about so far to add with some of the charts?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this is the institutional cycle, right? So what matters is what institutions are looking at. And if you take a look at my screen, Van Eck, a very big institution on Wall Street, has its ETF for AVAX acknowledged by the Securities and Exchange Commission. This is pretty big. This happened earlier this week. And we'll just skip ahead to SUI, also getting a similar incremental update here with their ETF. This is 21 shares SUI ETF registered in Delaware. So I want to make clear, nothing has been approved. In fact, Bloomberg actually recently put out a bit of data here showing that AVAX and Cardano both have a 75% likelihood of being passed, meaning they're ETFs. I don't know if it's of the spot or the futures variety, neither of which have been approved by the SEC for AVAX or Cardano. But then you also have a bunch of other coins on here, Litecoin, Solana, XRP, Dogecoin, Polkadot, and HBAR. Each have ETFs in play, not accepted yet by the SEC, but all of them are more than 75% or 75 or more than 75% likely to be passed by the SEC, according to the ETF experts over at Bloomberg. So, look, if you don't think this is going to be a big catalyst for altcoins, I don't know what you're thinking, because it's got to be. It's going to be huge, especially for some of the bigger names that institutions are a little more interested in. AVAX definitely comes to mind. Solana comes to mind. But don't sleep on HBAR, Cardano, Litecoin, Dogecoin, and any of the other ones that are on this list. If Bloomberg is doing analysis on it, it means that somebody in the institutional world has requested this data, and they're going to publish it as well for their readers. So it's very interesting. Bullish for the names on the screen.
There we go. That's a great update there, Sherm. Thank you for that. By the way, teaser for tomorrow's video coming out at 3 p.m. It's going to be a double header. I'm going to tease you guys a little bit. Someone asked earlier, I'm not even going to say the coins, right? I'm not going to tell you if we've talked about them already today, if we're not going to talk about them today. Tomorrow, we'll be putting out a video titled The 5 Coins to Watch in May. 5 altcoins to watch in May. I don't know if that's the official title yet. But what's going to be cool about this is we're going to be putting out that video here on Investing Bros, and we're going to be putting out a video on Alpha Bros, our sister channel. Make sure you are subscribed to Alpha Bros. Crux does a phenomenal job. It is the crypto fundamental channel. That's the sister channel or the bro channel of the Investing Bros. He will cover the fundamentals of these 5 coins. He'll go in depth on everything that's going well. I will cover the charts and the volatility of these 5 coins. Tune in tomorrow at 3 p.m. You absolutely want to check it out. That's Alpha Bros channel right there. If you're not subscribed to it, what's wrong with you? Go subscribe right now to Alpha Bros. You do not want to miss out on all of that information. Again, tomorrow, double header. You're going to want to watch both videos so you get everything you can. Let's go back to the charts here. Let's talk AVAX. T-Shroom just mentioned AVAX. Very close to getting an ETF approved. As we mentioned the other day when we were talking about the XRP ETF, odds are it's a futures ETF because they rarely approve the spot ETF before they approve a futures one. But you never know. My guess, though, is that it's going to be a futures ETF, and that's not a terrible sign. AVAX. Let's start off here. We mentioned this, I think, last week. What is the higher high that AVAX needs to get to be in a bull trend again? It needs to get back above 23.52, right? The high from back here at the end of March. It did not do it with this recent surge. Doesn't mean it won't, right? It just means it didn't have the same type of epic rally that SUI had, that Bitcoin had a big run. I think Solana broke through and set a higher high. A couple coins set higher highs. AVAX didn't. That's okay. AVAX is still a very strong fundamental coin. I'm still very excited about its future. Under the long-term views here, as you go to longer time frames, it bounced off of an historical, and I say historical, a big trend line that we've been in this bull market so far. Now, this was a downtrend, right? Lower highs and lower lows came in here, but are we ready to start flipping that? The macro, AVAX really needs to get back here above $55 to kind of break that structure of lower highs being put in on a longer time frame. But for now, we're kind of keeping our eyes around the daily chart and saying, hey, what are we going to call bullish? We'll call it bullish when we get back above 23.52 and get above those highs from March. We do have some long-term buy signals here on AVAX. I believe this is one of those ones with a weekly buy signal here. Again, bullish divergence, green reversal, bullish momentum. We've had the positive money flow for quite some time now. These targets would give us levels for AVAX. Again, it's falling to the downside pretty quickly, but we'll call it somewhere in the world of $38 to $45 for now. Could that adjust and go higher? It could. With how aggressive those weekly buy signals are, I'm not going to be surprised. There you go. We have 2 weekly buy signals, right? Not every coin has 2 weekly buy signals right now. AVAX does. Green reversal, bullish momentum, positive money flow. What happened the last time? Go back to November. The last time we had a 2 weekly buy signal, what happened? Well, back in November, we were way down here. Guess what we did? Guess what we rejected? Right in the 2 weekly smart trail. It's almost like Luxago works for buy and sell signals when you know what to look for. Well, as we get another buy signal right now, that gives us targets at $58 to potentially $66 to start off the 2 weekly chart buy signal. Again, don't expect this by next week. I'm not saying AVAX is about to be the leading altcoin. I'm saying it's not over and there's still money to be made on AVAX. But just like everything else, I'm going to assume with us rejecting here off the daily smart trail here, I'm going to assume a sell signal has come in just like a lot of other altcoins, and my assumptions are right. Red reversal, bearish momentum, negative money flow. Let's make sure it's not the same on the 2 daily chart. No, it's almost there, but that money flow is still slightly positive. So we're going to stick with the daily chart for now. We're sort of below the smart trail. So I'm not going to see a target here. If I was going to get a target, I'd say probably here on 1883 where this order block is, but that's not a lock either. Let's go down to the 12-hour chart where I'm assuming we have a smart trail down below. Oh, would you look at this? With a 12-hour sell signal, very clean. Guess where it's coming in at? It's kind of lining up right there on $19, give or take. The smart trail, the order block, kind of lining up there with the order block here from the daily chart. I can't tell you and I can't promise you that's the bottom. That's very strong reasons right there to have a little buy order in here just south of $19. Let's see if we can find some supporting evidence here from liquidations on lower time frames. Let's go to the 4-hour chart to look at these liquidations and see if anything's kind of popping up here. Yeah, a pocket, a different couple places. Definitely a big pocket right here on $19. But I wouldn't look at these liquidations and say liquidations are the thing to watch right now for the fallback. So that's not really helping us. You do see this zone kind of coming back here towards the lows we had back in the middle of April. Still in a shorter time frame on the 4-hour chart. Higher highs and higher lows. Even with this pullback back down towards $19, that would still be a slightly higher high and higher low here. So not breaking any long-term structure bullish, or not breaking any short-term bullish structure here. Let's get back above 2350 and we'll talk about longer term bullishness and start to make that 2 weekly buy signal make sense. But for now, I think AVAX, if you're looking to scoop up some more, probably going to be able to get some here towards $19 unless the bulls just take off. Like I need to pause real quickly. Go to my screen. I know my camera might be choppy, but I want to make sure I lock eyeballs with you guys. And my face is going to glitch, but listen to my eyes while you look at my glitchy face. None of these charts are promised. I'm not telling you it's guaranteed. What I'm saying is if nothing changes over the next couple of days, if no major golden platypus scenario comes in, and golden platypus is the opposite of a black swan. We decided here on our Investing Bros channel. If a major bullish headline comes in, forget all these buybacks. It's going to take off without us. But where the markets are right now, we're in bullish trends. We're heading to the upside, but we're a little overbought, and we need to cool off back down towards some of these 12-hour and daily smart trails. It's not bearish. It's an opportunity. You can cry about the opportunity and complain and think that we're in a bear market, or you can realize that this is how charts move and take advantage of it. That is completely up to you. But if we do get this normal pullback, these zones are the ones that have the highest probability of landing and being good buy spots. We could go back a little further. We could drop a little lower in these zones, but when it all is said and done, buying at these levels, I'm telling you, is 10 times better than buying at the levels that we currently are at. So that is what we're kind of doing right now. That's what the charts are saying, but I'm not promising. I'm just showing you the strong support levels in an overbought market and why these should be pulled back here a little bit. I want to read chat here for just a second. Tony Roses says, I'm buying now, Tim, and if I lose money, well, I'm not telling you to buy now, Tony. Don't buy now. I'm saying buy at those levels. Buy at those levels. There's my camera glitch right on cue. Let's go back Let's go back away from my camera because the camera sucks today. Smay thinks it's overheated. So I did leave it on. We had a meeting earlier today and I had it turned on and I didn't turn it off. So is my camera a little hot right now? Maybe. It is warm down in Florida. What was the next one I said? Link. Chainlink. Ooh. I love Link. I feel like you guys can't see me. I feel like the line from Anchorman where Steve, I don't remember his character's name. Steve Carell says, "I love Lamp." I love Link. I love Lamp. What's Chainlink doing right now? Oh, there you go. It does. The camera's going to glitch on us. Let's just go off. Go the camera. There we go. All right. So we got to the zone here on Chainlink. I told people, hey, I was going to enter a short. I didn't enter I was golfing. I apologize, guys. I was golfing. I did not get in on the short. I was waiting for the breakout because I didn't want a wick to come down and get me into it. But with the fact that we're back up here, I might be able to enter some sort of short here on Chainlink right here. We'd reached a zone of resistance and support, and I was going to be patient and wait for it. But just like everything else, 4-hour sell signal, 12-hour sell. Whoa, is there no 12 hours? No, okay. The 12-hour sell signal is coming. 8-hour sell signal? Yeah, 8-hour sell signal. How far are we from a daily sell signal? That's weird that the 12-hour hasn't confirmed. It's close, hasn't confirmed, but the daily signal is there. So what does this tell us? Just like everything else, let's take a look on Chainlink. Where am I thinking we could get to? Oh, would you look at that? We did not get above the daily smart trail, so that doesn't help. 12-hour smart trail is going to be my target here. I want to cross-reference this with the daily chart here, but I'm looking 1330 to 1376 is going to be an interesting zone. When it comes to order blocks, we have an equilibrium right here. We have an order block lower, but an equilibrium, that's a big deal here. Daily order blocks coming in down towards 1230. So could we drop back that far? In theory, we could, but I kind of like where this equilibrium and smart trail is right here as my little buyback zone here for Chainlink, just in this world of 13. Now, I'm in a long-term long on Chainlink that we bought back here way lower, back down towards $12. But I would be adding to that position, maybe even adding some to my spot long positions here on Chainlink. Should I get back down here to $13? If you're looking for a short, again, we haven't talked about shorts here, but what I kind of referenced was potentially doing some sort of a short like this. Look at this free information right here. I'd have to look at a lower time frame. Let me set up. You guys want a free short suggestion? Stuff that we do in the VIP trading group all the time. Got some bearish breaker blocks right there. That makes a lot of sense to be above those. There is a big pile of liquidations up there, but I want to kind of clear out some of these. I'm going to go above this order block right here on the 1-hour chart. This would be how I would trade this right now. Let's turn all the noise off. Let's back out here and go back to the 4-hour chart where I can make this clean. I would be entering my link short here around 1427. I'll put my stop loss up here just in case, 1484. I would put my take profit down here at 1319, the higher end of my buy zone. What leverage would I use? I've got a 3.8% stop loss situation. We'll call it 4% just to round it up there. What does that mean to me? I never risk more than 30%. I like to risk closer towards 20%. So I could go 4 to 5x on this, 16 to 20% almost, 4 to 5x short on Link. And if I'm right here, again, about a 7.6% move to the upside. So let's call it round it to 8, 32 to 40% win on this move. You might be saying, Tim, I see people trade online all the time and they get like 500% wins. Well, they might be trading with like $5. And then that doesn't mean like, I trade with more significant money. I'm usually trading with my trades about $5,000. If I can get a 40% win on a $5,000 entry, guys, we're talking about a $2,000 profit. I don't know if people are going to shake their head at a $2,000 profit on that type of a move here. That's how I would be shorting Chainlink right now. But guess what? I'm deleting all this. I'm going to set this up. I'm going to give it to the VIP trading group. So if you didn't watch this live and you don't ever watch this scene again, you might not see that short set up right there. There we go. All right. There's Chainlink right there. Again, I didn't talk about the long term. I'm still bullish long term. We still got these weekly buy signals that are making me very, very bullish. Do we have a 2-weekly buy signal yet here? No, but we're very close. Got to give it a couple more weeks here. What would that one be if it was there? Oh, man. You'd have to look up here. Equilibrium or order block between $30 to $37 here for Chainlink. The weekly chart is giving us a smart trail move up here back to 27-ish, but the 2 weekly, not that far away from signaling. And that's what you're going to start seeing here, guys. By the way, when we start making up here towards $30, $35, don't be surprised you start seeing like buy signals on things like the monthly chart, in which case all of a sudden we're talking about brand new all-time highs as being some projections there. But anyway, that's Chainlink right there. There's some TA there. People ask for XRP. I think this is going to be the last coin we're due here today, and then we have a factoid of the day with Smay. You might not see my face because my camera is the worst, but let's do some XRP TA. Again, big breakout the other day. We talked about this in our XRP video. We broke above this level of resistance. We've now closed several candles above. Today, we made a move back down here to touch former resistance and turn it into support. That's really bullish. Doesn't mean it's over. I'm going to look at some things here that could be a lower level for XRP, but for now, I actually really like that. I need to see XRP get back above 256 to start setting higher highs again. But again, I gave a whole video about XRP TA the other day. This is going to be more about shorter time frame stuff. Let's take a look at where the sell signals are. Where they're not is the daily chart. No daily sell signal. 12-hour chart. There we go. We still have a 12-hour sell signal. So we're going to start there. What would that suggest to me as a potential? We're below the smart trail. We're below the smart trail. In theory, order blocks are right here where we're bouncing. Okay. All right. We got to go lower here. 4-hour chart. Is there a smart trail right here? There was. We dropped a little bit below there. We're hitting a lot of support levels there. What about let's go 8-hour? Yeah, right there in the 8-hour, 6-hour camp for smart trails. Oh, man.
What are you going to do, Tim? Make a decision. Make a decision.
I think that I think that XRP is a buy right now, guys. I mean, could it come back down to 213? Maybe. But we're only sitting at 219. I think XRP is a buy now. Again, we're getting some of these larger, long-term buy signals in. Here we have the 3-daily chart for sure. The 5-daily chart, I think. Nope. 5-daily chart has flashed by. And then I think this is what. Okay, we have not gotten the weekly yet. This is one of the coins that just had such a great run. We have the green reversal. We have the bullish momentum. That money flow could go positive on us, but I like the 5-daily buy signal. And that's going to give me a target up here. Ooh, yeah, we're on top of the smart trail. That would give me a target up here back to the red cloud where the order block starts 311 to 334 for XRP on that 5-daily buy signal. Let's look at the 3-day. 3 days is going to give me 272 for a signal for our buys. That would give me above that structure I need to get to new highs for XRP. Again, XRP is different right now. It's similar, but it's different. And while I'm looking at all these other pullbacks, I'm not saying XRP can't pull back. And if it did pull back below, I would say you're looking at 206 as a zone that's very interesting. But there's a chance that what we saw today happen right here. If we go to the 1-hour chart, that was just a clean bounce off a former resistance level that we're looking to turn to support. Again, 206 maybe. If you want to hold out some cash for 206, okay. But that bottom move in XRP looks kind of interesting right there. There's our XRP TA. Guys, I know I'm seeing people ask for Ondo and Arrow and Solana. A lot of people asking for a lot of coins here. If I looked at every altcoin under the sun, we could be here for like 10 hours. You want to know where I can look at a lot more altcoins and I can spend a lot more time with you over in the VIP trading group. I know that you guys don't like the new. Some of you guys, the OGs, do not like the new schedule, right? Now we're putting out videos Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. We're going live on Wednesdays. We are doing live trading Monday mornings at 9 a.m., but we missed this Monday because I was sick. I know you guys want to spend more time with the bros. Here's the deal. The views over the last couple of weeks had been waning. And T-Shirt and I talked for a long time. We know that YouTube, the game on YouTube to grow and to make the algorithm correct, you want to increase those views. And more often than not, uploads are actually more potent than live streams. We know, though, you guys love hearing our takes. You love getting our thoughts on the markets. And we have a whole group that's paying. And we are probably one of the cheaper groups out there, right? For the amount of information, the amount of time you get to spend with me and T-Shroom and Crux and our other pro traders, we might be one of the cheapest out there. We might have to raise our price in the future. But we said, you know what? There's a lot of people spending money to learn from us. Let's spend more time with them. We're not gone. We are still here every single day. But if you want to get our takes and get streams where we just do nothing but TA. I go over coin after coin after coin. You get to hear from me and T Shroom and Crux. You get to hear from our other pro traders. The VIP trading group is calling your name right now, guys. It's only $40 a month. We're talking about $1 and some change, right? Less money than a cup of coffee a day to come join that VIP trading group, and you will get 10 times the value that you were getting. We'll go 100 times the value you were getting from daily live streams. Go ahead, go join it right now. I'll tell you this, though. Last thing I'll say, and we're going to throw it to Smay for our Smay corner of the day. It's not always a factoid now, by the way. I know you guys love the streams. I know you guys love the live streams. I love live streams. I love being here with you guys for an hour and a half. It is always great. Again, that's why I love being with the VIP trading group every day. I'm going to do a new challenge for you guys. If our Wednesday live streams ever reach 10,000 views again, every time we get a 10,000 view Wednesday live stream for the foreseeable future until views really start to pick back up, we will do a Friday live as well. But you guys got to get us to 10,000 views. So like the video, subscribe, tell YouTube you love the Broz live streams, share them with your friends, get us to 10,000 views, and hey, we'll do a Friday special live stream just for you guys. With that said, I'm throwing it to Smay. It's time for the Smay's Crazy Corner of the Day, a new up version of Factoids of the Day. Is it a factoid?
Let me correct you there. You say Smay's Crazy Corner. It doesn't always have to be crazy, Tim. There's a time and a place.
It's always crazy.
There's a time and a place. It does not always have to be crazy. Today's not crazy. Today's just the stone cold hard truth. Because we're doing a factoid. And with that, guys, welcome to the Factoid of the Day, brought to you by Decrypted.tax. This one's great. I had a personal record round a day. And so I didn't shoot as great as Tim, but it doesn't matter because Tim's great at everything he does. Anyways, what was Smay's longest golf drive ever? Hint, it was not today. A, 298, B, 157, C, and we're talking about yards here, 201, or D, 256. Now, guys, listen, here's the deal. Am I driving out of your mind? Am I driving over the 300s? No. Smay's new. I've only been golfing for like 8 months now, okay? So, temper your expectations. I know I'll get there one day.
Delta
so
D.
I want to say that you've told us some of the things. I think you average over 157. I think you're consistently getting over 157. So I think we can take out B. I think A is a little far fetched. So I think we're gonna remove A and B. I'm really confused because you could have had just one good hit with some wind on your back and hit that 256 easily. So that makes me think D, but there's a part of me that thinks that your average, I think, is lower than 201. So like you could have had I don't know.
Well,
where did you hit it?
Well,
did you hit it like at a driving range?
I did this in the field.
Okay, in the field.
And I have done this multiple times.
Like on a real golf course.
201.
I've done this multiple times.
I'm gonna say C 201 then. I think
and I'm gonna give
I can see you hitting 256, but I if you've done it multiple times, I think you hit 201 multiple times.
And I'm going to give you 55 more yards. I'm going to go Delta, and I'm also going to point out that picture is you. I didn't realize that. And the question I have for you, Smay, is where's the ball?
The ball is just out of frame. The ball is just out of frame.
A little closer.
This is the only footage I could find of me golfing, so this is outdated. But yes,
you get that.
But you could see my left foot is not planted. It's a little bit of a baseball swing. All right, guys, come on. You guys are all critics.
Let's go.
You are all critics.
I think C. I think C.
Delta.
All right. And with that, drum roll, ladies and gentlemen, it is not this. It is D.
Oh my gosh, that's so misleading.
The arrow was in the wrong place. It is D. And I have done this multiple times now. I'm a big boy.
Good.
Got a lot of power. So,
listen,
nice straight down the fairway.
Tim doubted you.
Was I right?
But I was right
average
there with
200
you.
now? At one point, your average is probably 175.
My average, if I don't absolutely flub the drive, which happens, right? My average with good contact is over 200. But not significantly. So probably in the 201 range. But, I've hit 256 when I have good contact and good form. That's usually what I'm hitting.
There you go.
So.
And you don't need to go to my screen, but breaking news: Microsoft beat earnings by 7%. I don't know.
Ooh.
Yeah, I don't know if that's the revenue or the EPS. Let me check. But you can close this out, Tim. We'll be talking about that in the Discord.
I want to see Microsoft. Where is it? Oh, here we go. Let's see what we have going on with the charts here. We did have a little bit of a pullback to end that 4-hour chart. Again, the markets now are closed.
I read it wrong. It's up 7%. The price per share is up 7% in aftermarket. Okay. Microsoft revenue 70 billion. Estimate was 68 billion. EPS was $3.46. Estimate was 322. So it beat on EPS and revenue by a lot. And then Cabesi letter is saying that Microsoft's up 7%. You have it on the charts, Tim?
It is, yeah. Just I was like, oh man, for some reason I have post marks because I was looking for the post line somewhere close. Yeah, take a look here on the hourly chart. Look at how high that is. Yes, it's up.
Wow,
7% is a little high. It's up 5.65%. So maybe it was higher and it just cooled back off. But yeah, Microsoft gonna open up a little bit of a bubble, a little bit of a gap there tomorrow. But yeah, big win for Microsoft in the post markets. To put that in perspective, how is the S&P 500 doing post markets? I have to go to the SPY over here. Barely up. I mean, it's up, but it's barely up from the post market. So Microsoft, big win there. Where's Coinbase kind of right where we left it. So could be an interesting one to watch for tomorrow in the live trading group. We'll take a look at some stocks there. Microsoft, great news there for Microsoft holders. With that said, everybody, that is going to wrap up today's show. If you guys have more suggestions for Smay about keeping his left foot planted, drop all of that in the comments down below. If you have suggestions about him not hitting the intro button.
I need to clarify, I don't do that anymore, okay? That was an old picture. I said it was an old picture. Okay. That picture was not a 256 yard technique, okay?
What about do you still hit intro buttons in the middle of live streams anymore?
Ooh, no. That's allegedly. Okay. That's only allegedly.
That's alleged.
First of all, anybody could have been doing that. Okay, Tim. So you crazy guy.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for being here. Smash that like button on your way out. Hit the subscribe. We'll have, again, tomorrow afternoon, 5 altcoins to watch in the month of May. You don't want to miss it. Subscribe to the channel. Hit the notification bell so you don't. See you guys tomorrow. Adios.